Okay, everybody, here is my update. I am returning to trail. I am going to return to trail in a week, and my feet are getting better. They hurt this morning, and after I stretched them out and did a little walkabout, I felt better. And so I don't know what that means for hiking on rocks and boulders and long distances, but at least for the here and now, it seems as though improvement has occurred. I'm going to be starting from Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, and I can't wait. I'm really, really excited. Not only am I excited about returning to trail, I'm really excited about the possibility of seeing Jersey and Dove. They are going to be behind me. I'm going to be a little bit ahead of them, but they hike very quickly and they hike lots of miles, and especially because I'm going to be starting off slow and steady. And I think that at some point our paths are going to merge, and I'm super excited about seeing them again. They found a way into my heart, and I care about both of them a great deal. What are my thoughts about returning to trail? Well, you know, if I want to hike, I'm going to have to be smart about it and just go at my own pace. Another person said, so when are you going to finish your hike? In November? And I wrote back and said, I'm not sure. I don't know how to answer that question. And I don't know how to answer that question. I don't even know if I'm going to finish the hike, but I'm going to do my best. And so I'm glad that you all have decided to stay with me, and we're going to go on this journey and see beautiful waterfalls and lots of sunrises and sunsets and everything else in between. I hope a lot of wildlife. I would love for that to happen, including snakes, as long as they're not right next to me. That would be great. I wanted to give you all some information on some of my videos and what they mean. There is always an additional message in my videos that some of you may not have caught, and I wanted to share it with you. I love looking at the clouds and looking at the sun as it's coming up in the morning. And when you see those shots where I'm looking up and I say, good morning, sun, I am saying good morning, sun, but I'm also saying good morning to my Creator. Every single time, I'm thanking God for the day that I have and asking Him for safe travel and to be with me and to help me appreciate and be grateful for my day. Have a good attitude, have gratitude, and have appreciation. Every single time you see that, that's what I'm doing. Additionally, at the end of a vlog, if you see a water source, it's because I love water sources. I love them. They are music to me. But that's my thank you at the end of the day for safe travel and appreciating the beauty of nature, and that I had the ability to be out hiking that day. That's a nod to my Creator as well. So for those of you that, you know, don't have the same faith-based system that I have, it's okay. It's fine. There's no critique or judgment here. I hope that you won't have a critique or judgment on me as well, and that those shots for you will just be beautiful shots of nature that you can appreciate. But for me, they have additional meaning that is moving and meaningful. I've had several people write and say, you know, don't worry about hiking next year. You can hike next year. And I appreciate your thoughtfulness. I really do. Hiking next year is not a possibility for me. My husband and I have already made plans for next year. My grandchildren and I have already made plans for next year. This was my year to be able to do this. And it was a year of sacrifice on my family's part. To kind of give up time with me, for me to be able to realize a dream and an accomplishment that I wanted to achieve. And next year reverts back to my family, which is okay with me. I want to do all the things that we have planned. Does that mean that I can't do maybe a 1 or 2 week section hike? No, I probably can. But getting back on the trail just to be a through hiker is not an option for me next year. But I do appreciate the suggestions. They were good ones, and I know that they were sent with a kind heart. I wanted to give you all an explanation of my last video. It was the video where I was talking about deposits and withdrawals. And I was trying to find a way to respond to those individuals where I was not responding in like kind, because I don't come down to that level. The reason that video was done was because I had a couple of individuals that decided that they wanted to provide me with some superlative negative feedback. And I don't respond well to that. You know, we don't all have to agree. We can agree to disagree, or people can choose not to watch a channel, um, or they can provide information that is not hateful and cruel and mean. This was my way of sort of addressing those individuals, and many of you were probably watching going, what just happened here? What is she talking about? The people that those thoughts were created for, they got it, they understood what was going on. And the reason I know that they got it is because they've come back and apologized and responded with some better positive feedback. We don't all have to agree. We can agree to disagree. We're not all wired the same. That's what makes our world so beautiful and so wonderful, is that we have a brain trust of information with people that have different philosophies, different thoughts. We don't all have to be the same. When you want to critique somebody, you can do so with a modicum of respect and thoughtfulness in the word choices that you use. And so, thus my video on deposits and withdrawals. And I'd like to talk about that just for another minute, just to make sure that I was clear in what I was trying to say. My thought process on deposits and withdrawals has been shared with my children and with my family, with the people that I managed. And it's this: when you respond to somebody, you have an opportunity of putting a deposit in your bank and theirs by handling a situation with professionalism, warmth, courtesy, respect. You don't have to agree with the person that you're dealing with. You don't have to be on the same page, but minimally, a modicum of respect is required. It's required. And if you do it that way, then it's done where you are making a deposit in that person's bank and in yours. Also, whenever it is a word of encouragement, taking a meal to somebody who's down on their luck, you know, helping somebody financially, buying a prescription for someone, helping a single mother, you know, helping an elderly person, you're making deposits. You're making deposits in your own intellectual and well-being bank, and you're making it in theirs. When a person is snide and thoughtless and possibly cruel, that is a withdrawal. It is a withdrawal from their bank and a withdrawal from yours. And so wealth is not always based on money. There is intellectual wealth. Intellectual wealth is based on deposits and withdrawals. When you put money in a bank and you continue putting money in a bank, you know, dividends occur, interest occurs, and your bank account gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it starts to grow on its own, because so much money is in the bank, it continues to grow. When you have negative experiences, I'm sorry, that is all of my next door neighbor, who also wants to be in the video today. So we'll just let her have her say, and she'll be finished in a second. Anyway, she is wanting to come over and play with Charlie, is what the communication is. Anyway, conversely, negativity and somebody being cruel or hateful is a withdrawal. It's a withdrawal from their bank, and it's a withdrawal from yours. And if enough of those withdrawals occur, then the bank account has to be closed, because it's become overdrawn and the bank no longer can keep the account open. What does that mean? What does that really mean? What that means is relationships require deposits. Do withdrawals occasionally happen? They do, because not everybody gets along every day. There's an argument, there's a little spat, there's a little disagreement, but then the deposits come back, and those withdrawals, you know, they're made up for with additional deposits. For those people that continuously are the grumpy people of the world, negative, 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 it's just a constant withdrawal. Those accounts have to be closed. What I mean by that is this relationships have to end. You have to sever those ties, and you have to move on, because they're toxic and they are not beneficial to you. They're not beneficial to anybody around you, because they affect you. You have to decide how they are going to affect you. Are you going to get depressed? Are you going to get mad? Are you going to get, you know, sad? How are you going to respond? I don't always respond this way. I try not to ever use the words ever, never, and always. I try just to say this: Olive really wants to come over and play. At some point when you are around or subjected to negativity, you have to decide how are you going to respond. My way of responding is to go, that's interesting, or even that's amusing. A lot of times what's going on is that person may be having a bad day or a bad week. I'm not talking about those people, but still you can use the same response. Everybody has a bad day and a bad week. But when it's somebody that is continuously negative, 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 that's a toxic relationship at that point, and you have got to sever your ties and you have got to walk away, or ask that person to walk away. Does that take strength and stamina and some fortitude to do that? You bet it sure does. But it's going to pay off for you in the long run, because you have to protect your mental health and your mental well-being. Being around toxic individuals is not optimal for you. It's not the best way for you to move forward, to feel good about yourself, and put you in a situation where you feel like you can give to others, because you're so stuck on what somebody else is saying that you can't move forward, and you're giving that energy. Now let's talk about moving on from deposits and withdrawals and talk about energy. When those things happen, you have energy. We all have energy. It's negative energy, it's positive energy, but we have it, and we only have a certain amount that we per day. I mean, that's all we have. It's to take care of the chores that you need to do. It's to go to work. It's to take care of children. It's to prepare dinner. It's to talk to your mom on the phone. It's to do any number of different things. Negative energy, positive energy, there's only so much. When you run into individuals like that, you have to decide that day, okay, how much energy is that going to take? And is it worth the energy it's going to take to deal with this person? For me, it was worth the energy that I expended to deal with that person on YouTube, because I wanted to know what the deeper reason was. I wanted to know what the root problem was of this person not communicating with me properly. And I'll tell you what I think it is. That person is alone. That person is sitting there watching YouTube and doesn't have anything better to do than to be grumpy, because that person's life is empty. So that negative energy gives that person a sense of purpose, a sense of value, and a sense of power. Negative energy that is thrown on me like that does not work. It's repelled off of me, because I am not going to give somebody else power over my thoughts and how I move forward. I am a fighter, I am a debater, and I want to think bigger than what's just in front of me. So if you can try and take a 30,000 foot view and look at a situation and try and take your emotions out of it and try and figure out what's going on with that person, where are they that day, why are they behaving that day? And if you don't know the answers to those questions, you give that person the benefit of the doubt. You're the bigger person, and that's a deposit in your bank. And so is that other person going to appreciate what you've done? Probably not. That's okay. You didn't do that. You didn't do it for that person. You did it for you. So always rise above, be the bigger person. Don't respond in like kind unless it's absolutely necessary, and at times it may be necessary. That happened to me whenever, and I'll just share this with you. I'm not perfect. None of us are. And when I was staying at a hostel while I was on this trip, there was an individual that was carrying on and wouldn't stop. And I had planned on hiking the next day, a big hike. At 9 o'clock, this person was still carrying on. 9:30, 10, 10:30, 11. At this point, I lost it. I went out of my room, provided my verbal feedback in a very assertive way, and came back to my room. I was livid. And afterward, I felt really guilty, because that's typically not how I respond to other people, but that person wasn't going to respond to anything else but that sort of feedback. The owner of the hostel had to get involved and invite that individual to leave in the middle of the night, because he had been a problem before. And I felt bad for that, but I thought, you know what? These are hikers. These are all hikers in there. They all want to go hiking the next day. You need to get your stuff together, and you need to respect that other people want to get their sleep. Just because you don't doesn't mean that you have the right to steal it from everybody else. So, did I put deposits in the bank that day? Probably not. That was a withdrawal from my bank and his, but it was necessary. So, it's not a hard fast rule. It's a suggestion for a happier, more fulfilled life, and hopefully that will help somebody. It certainly has helped me. And so, just like Forrest Gump says, and that's all I have to say about that. And so we'll just move on. And in the meantime, I hope that something I said will help you. I appreciate you all being with me today. I just finished my walk and I had a last thought. So I want to share this with you. I grew up during the 60s and 70s and we used to say peace all the time. So my gratitude is when I look at the sun and I'm thankful. Peace is what I'm wishing to you. So my gratitude and my peace to you, and I'm so glad you joined me today. Y'all take good care, and I'll see you in my next video.